No matter who you are or where you come from, whether we realize it or not, we've all been put on one kind of assembly line or another. Whether the path that we've been set on was handed down to us by society or expectations that our family put on us, or any combination of the messages and forces out there that are telling us who we are, who we should be, what we're capable of, what success is, and on and on and on. So what does it actually take to carve out your own path and build a life on your own terms? Well, we describe it in these 3 steps. Let go, define, become. On the road, we've talked to thousands of people about what it takes to build a life that's true to who you are. And these 3 steps are a common thread that emerged out of all of those conversations. It all starts by letting go of a life that was prescribed to you, one that isn't taking into account your individuality. You then define a life for yourself on your own terms by following the things that interest you and building up from there. And then you step out into the world and make it happen, become the person that you want to be. But that's easier said than done, right? Yeah, well, that's exactly why it takes us about 300 pages to break all of this down in our book. So let's elaborate on this just a little bit more. To start off, it has to be said that this process of letting go is really tough. We're all bombarded every single day with messages that are pulling us in different directions. And it gets especially hard to listen to yourself when, more often than not, we end up internalizing some of those messages and they begin to sound like they're coming from within, even if they're not true. We call all of that the noise. We're all getting these messages, and we have to learn to recognize and filter through them and ultimately shed the noise. Taking the time and doing the work to get to a sort of blank canvas for yourself. That's what letting go is all about. And from there, you'll be able to define a life that's more authentic to who you are. So, what does that look like? Well, we have discovered that anyone can build a life around the things that they're most interested in. That means you. Not only can you build a life around something that you're interested in, but you can actually combine all of the things that you're into and find or create a career for yourself based on the intersection of those things. It's totally possible. But here's the trick. You have to forget everything that you think you know about choosing a career.
Hello, and welcome to your Career Day. Today is your chance to learn how to conform to what everyone else wants you to be. So many exciting career opportunities await. Your new job is waiting. Don't miss out. Just remember to bring your resume.
Bring your resume.
So we've all been taught to pick out some job that sounds like it won't suck too bad and then reverse engineer our entire lives to squeeze ourselves into these different boxes, right? But that's not really how the world works, and it's not how human beings work either. We're complicated, and we're multifaceted, and we're constantly growing and changing, and that's a good thing. That's why we think the best way to define your way forward is to start by just picking out anything you're interested in, something that you think is cool or that you would do for fun. And it doesn't have to be big or ambitious. Then you just explore that thing a little bit deeper. See if there's any books about it. Take a class. Talk to somebody that's working in that field. Just take one step in that direction and see where it takes you. Because each step of the way, you're going to learn more about that thing and you're going to learn more about yourself. And then a new set of options are going to pop up for where you can go from there. It's kind of like one of those old connect the dots drawings. You may not know what the big picture is until you've taken a bunch of steps, but we guarantee if you follow your interests from one dot to the next, whatever your picture turns out to be, it's going to be way more in line with who you truly are. And then you're defining a life on your own terms. But then what does it actually take to become the person that you want to be? It starts with just putting yourself out there. Taking your dreams out onto the street and hustling and sacrificing and putting in the work, especially in those early years. You'll have to take risks and you'll have to get comfortable with failure because you will experience failures along the way. Everybody does. In fact, it's necessary if you want to get good at anything. But it's important to reframe what that means learn from your failures along the way. And remember that you're just connecting one dot at a time. Despite how it may feel, you don't need to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life. You just need to decide what's next. So ask yourself this question. What is one small, accessible thing that you can be doing today, right now, that gets you even just a little bit closer to your dreams? It may not feel like a lot, but over time, it's actually those small steps that add up to become major life moves. But here's the most important thing. I mean, if you take one thing away from this entire video, I actually hope it's this. If you're feeling lost or overwhelmed by this question of what am I going to do with my life, that's okay. It's completely normal. And in fact, you're going to have a lot of moments that feel this way throughout your life. We know this because everyone we've ever talked to has experienced the same thing. But if you keep these 3 steps in mind, let go, define, become. It's something you can come back to and revisit again and again whenever you need, because life is going to constantly lead us to new truths and new realizations, and this process of self-construction, it never really stops. But that's a beautiful thing. So try things, ask questions, let go, define, become, then step back and reevaluate your life. And then try more things, and then ask more questions, and then step back and reevaluate your life, and then try more, and, well, I think you get the idea.